So welcome everybody in today. Yeah, just touched 40. Yesterday was January 22nd, which was my birthday. Supposedly I supposed to be about 40 years in Earth years. So today I thought today would be the best time to kick back off my podcast. I'm probably gonna name it, title it Energy. So today we're gonna talk a little bit about unlocking your inner power. You know, I think Neville Goddard called it living in your wish fulfilled, right? Um, yeah, I guess to kind of give a little background, just recently, during like the pandemic time, right as it was beginning to, we was beginning to go back into school. Um, all the schools were being open and allowing the kids and everyone to go back into school. I was coaching, and you know how you have that feeling that there's something more for you. You know, we had one state in 2016. I had been there another couple of years, obviously, because the pandemic was about 2020 or so, 2019, 2020. But regardless, like I said, I had one state. That was a goal I had set for myself, and just was, something within me was yearning for something more. I knew I could do more. I knew I could provide more. I knew I could be more. So as I've done many of times in my life, I go back to reflecting, right? Um, so this journey, I guess, started about 4 to 5 years ago. Has led me to today, and now I'll be making this. This will be my first video in a while where I've actually took time to write notes, and I actually brought my notes out to use them while I speak. So this should be pretty fun. So like I say, I'm probably going to title it Energy or Unlocking Your Inner Power. Right? What if I told you that everything you ever wanted was already yours? That the only thing standing between you and the life of your dreams is your awareness. Right, your awareness. Today, I'm going to dive into the truth about your inner power, your consciousness, what I like to call your awareness, and how to live in that state of the wish fulfilled. This will unlock the life you've always envisioned. All right. So let's understand the power of consciousness. All right, consciousness. When I look at consciousness, right, I call it God or your awakened imagination, right? There's so many different titles or words you can put on it. But at the end of the day, it's the ultimate creative power. All right, that's my summarization of everything. It's your consciousness is the ultimate creative power. Your consciousness is the root of your reality. What you focus on, you create. So whatever you've been focused on today, right? Whatever you've been focused on today, you have been creating more of it, right? So you think about if you had been yelling or screaming or hollering at your kids today, tonight, yesterday, what would you focus on? Yelling, screaming, or actually trying to control the situation from a position of power, right? Like typically they say a person that's screaming or yelling is out of control. They've lost control because a person that is calm and relaxed doesn't yell, doesn't scream, right? So what you focus on yelling instead of being focused on the power within, which allows you to control all the things around you, right? So what you focus on, you give energy to, and what you give energy to, you create, right? So the energy you give to those thoughts and to those feelings is the energy that shapes your experiences, right? You might not think of it as a big deal, but anytime that you shedding light on your problems or on your issues, especially for a elongated period of time, you're creating those situations and events to reoccur in your life, right? You don't realize it at the time. You probably don't realize it or know it, but that's what you're doing, right? So in those intense moments where you feel like you have to be angry or negative, let's say, right? That's the point where you control yourself, get control of yourself, and direct your power, let's say in a positive way or in a more beneficial way, not just for you, but for the person that you're upset with, right? Because whatever that anger or that energy that you're sending out to that person, they received it one way or the other. But regardless, that energy will come back to you multiplied, right? So again, what you focus on, you create. Your energy, the energy you give to your thoughts and feelings is the energy that shapes your experiences, right? Looking through the notes. Okay, so now let's take a look at how your external reality, right? The external reality will be the reality that you see when you open your eyes, right? Everything that's going on in the world around you once you open your eyes is your external reality, right? But your external reality reflects your internal beliefs. So the things that you think and you accept, the things that you believe within yourself is what you see on your external reality, right? I could use a lot of different basketball situations, right? I know the way that I thought about myself as an athlete, right? I know the way that I saw myself, visualized myself, things of that nature. Within myself, I would see it on the external reality, right? I would get confirmation of how I saw myself in reality, right? So the external reality that I see out here is only a reflection of what's going on inside my mind, inside my kingdom of heaven, right? So yeah, expect me to go off on little tangents. I'm reading notes, but I'm really just um, giving you a lot of what I've seen and what I've been through to be able to confirm that what I'm reading is real, it's true, right? So everything starts within you. When you think of yourself as lacking, struggling, or waiting, you project that into the world, right? When you think of anything from the mindset or the mentality of being in lack, then you are correct, even though you are incorrect, right? Because your natural nature is of abundance, riches, prosperity, things of that nature, right? So now you're out of alignment, thinking in lack, which could also be considered negative, or in some cases, could be called the devil, right? Blasphemy, the misuse of God's power, right? So everything starts within you. So when you think of yourself as lacking, you project that into the world, whether you know it or not, whether you believe it or not, whether you understand it or not. This is what you're doing, right? Not just you, me too. So don't take it as just you. I'm speaking to just you. No, I'm speaking to everybody. We all do this. until we learn to master our minds. Right? But when you think of yourself as already having, being, or experiencing your desires, the world has no choice but to align with that reality. Right? I always saw myself as one of the greatest coaches, one of the greatest trainers, one of the greatest in the world. Right? Like I literally see myself as such. And my life has displayed that um, over time. Right? Even before I became coach or trainer, I was an athlete, and I saw myself a lot of the same ways, which was always the best, if not one of the best, right? But I've also had to face my trials and tribulations of where I've allowed, let's say, unrighteous thinking to allow me to fall into some pitfalls, right? But this understanding has always gave me the power to pull myself out of any situation I've seemed to have fallen in, right? But that was more so as a child, but now as a grown man, like a real grown man, I don't fall in such pitfalls as easy, right? You have to get up early in the morning to pull one over me, right? But I'm on constant guard. I'm on constant watch of my mind, of my thoughts, of my moods, right? So like I was saying, so when you think of yourself as already having, right, you already have these things. I'm already rich. I'm already wealthy. I'm already healthy. I'm already all these things. I'm not trying to be these things. That's a different point of view, right? You want to live in a perspective. I think, as Neville Goddard say, as the wish fulfilled, right? You have to already know that I'm rich. Okay, now that you're rich, what are you gonna do, right? You have to live from that standpoint, from the point that you already are what you desire, or you already have what you desire. If it's that PlayStation, if it's that car, if it's that house, okay, I got the house, I got the car. Now what? From that moment on is the way that you should be thinking about yourself, not ever thinking of yourself as lack of not having. All right, if you need further understanding on that, leave me a comment and we can build on that. But that's very powerful, right? So when I'm thinking of already having these desires, I'm already being or experiencing the things that I desire, the world has no choice but to align with that reality, right? I'll give a quick, just a quick story of what happened today, right? My son had his iPad at school yesterday, waiting in the pickup line. Now, I'm guessing the teachers told them that they are allowed to be on their phones or tablet, but they probably gave them some restrictions like no social media, things of that nature. Right? He obviously was on social media. Some kid told on him, or whatever the case was. Besides the point. Long story short, his tablet gets picked up. They called me and they tell me about it. Matter of fact, they sent me a message in Class Dojo. Uh, then called, or I called, whatever the case was. I spoke with somebody, found out, what the iPad was, and told him I'd be picking it up. Now, once I went to go pick him up, he's walking. I could tell he's looking at me with that look, like, like what do my daddy know, type of thing. But it's no big deal to me because I understand the power that I possess and how to control situations, right? So I'm thinking from a calm point of view. As he gets in the car, I immediately ask him, "No, where's your iPad? You got your iPad?" "No, it's in the front office." "Okay." What they say? It's gonna cost me $15 to pick it up. And within my soul, I immediately said, "I'm not paying $15 to pick up my iPad," right? But I'm speaking from a position of power, not to be necessarily ugly, but no, that's my iPad. That's not what we're doing, right? I immediately took a stance of power, understanding the power that I have. Like, no, that's not happening, right? And not thinking too much of it and not being ugly or mean or anything like that. But I did proceed to walk in the building. I asked, matter of fact, there wasn't anybody in there at first. Then a lady came from her back. I asked her, where I could pick up the iPad. She, pretty much told me that no one was in the office right now. I'd have to come back tomorrow. Okay, so I left. No big deal. You know, no big deal. Fast forward to today. I had the opportunity to go up there to pick up the iPad, as well as take him some lunch. But in my mind, I had already walked in, asked for the iPad, and came out and went on about my business for the day. Right? Like I told myself, I'm not paying $15 for my iPad. So, I take the lunch in, I write him a little note to leave on his lunch. I asked about the iPad. Eventually, they pull it out. She sets it on the table. I told her thank you. I picked up the iPad and I walked off. Now, that may seem small to you, right? But you have to accept the small victories too, because small victories lead up to big victories, right? And just the habit of practicing, of recognizing small victories makes it a lot easier to attract those bigger victories, right? So that's just an example. I got plenty of stories, but that's just an example. So for me, there was a point where I had kept waiting for things to get better. Like I just knew, I had some things going on in my life, and things always have worked out for me. Therefore, when things didn't work out for me in the time frame that I thought they should have, I became, let's say, disgruntled. You could say upset, angry, whatever word you want to put on it, right? But I wasn't necessarily the happiest of campers, right? And I'm waiting on things to get better, waiting and waiting. But me waiting on those things to get better is me acknowledging that things aren't better, right? So if I'm acknowledging that things aren't better, if my focus, if my attention, if my consciousness, if my awareness is on the fact that I'm waiting on things to get better, which is telling me that things aren't good, right? I'm attracting more situations, more opportunities, more circumstances into my life to prove to me that things aren't good, right? And without that knowing and that understanding of what you're doing, you're creating turmoil in your life. You are, not the people around you. You are, right? That's heavy, right? And this is only for those who understand. You are the problem. Yes, this person did that, did this, that, but you sent out that energy for those problems to return to you. Oof, that's heavy, man. I know. I know a lot of us don't like to hear that shit. Excuse my French. I know you don't like to hear that, but that was a big fact. You are in control of your reality, whether you realize that you're controlling it or not. All right, let's get back to my notes, right? So, like I was saying, I was just waiting on things to get better. But when I shifted my awareness, once I shifted my awareness, when I started acting and thinking and believing as if I had already had the things I needed, things changed faster than I could ever imagine, right? What else do I need to say after that? You know what I mean? Things started to change faster than I could have imagined. But this was me shifting my awareness, right? Me acting and thinking from the point of already having whatever it is that, or whatever it was that I needed at the point. Now let's move forward a little bit with discussing the wish fulfilled. Let's give a little more context on the wish fulfilled, right? It's not about wishing and it's not about hoping. It's about embodying that feeling. that your wish is already your reality, right? So this takes me back to a verse in the Bible where Jesus says, "Let the weak say I am strong." Now, is he telling you to lie? Hmm. No. Just to answer your question for you. No, he's not telling you to lie. It's an understanding, right? Your natural state is of strength. So if you feeling any type of lack, you should instantly remind yourself that I am strong, right? Because there's power in your I am. And anybody that knows and understands these things know that I am is your God power, right? So let the weak say, I am strong, right? You don't announce lack. You don't accept lack, no matter what it is, right? So you embodying the feeling that your wish is already a reality. All right, so let's say, imagine walking and talking and thinking as if money, love, health, or success is already here. You already got it. Just imagine walking, talking, and thinking from that point of view, right? The moment you start to do this, the moment you start to tap into this power, your mind doesn't know, or your brain doesn't know real from fake. So the fact that you're just consciously wondering and thinking along this avenue is allowing you to magnetize these thoughts that you're having just from simply imagining and walking and talking and thinking and acting as if, right? So the more you do this and the more that you practice this, the more easily it becomes, the more that you embody this feeling, the easier it is for you to attract all the things of your heart, right? In the big book, uh, in scripture, it says, right, seek thee first the kingdom of heaven within, and all these things will be added, all those desires will be added to you, right? So what are you seeking first? Are you seeking something outside of you? Are you seeking bills? Are you seeking finance? Are you whatever you seeking? Is it outside of you, or are you seeking the kingdom of heaven within first? Right. This is a practice that you have to cultivate, and it don't just necessarily happen overnight, but it does once you understand that you're practicing this every day. This is a practice. So let's say you're looking to achieve financial freedom. I know people say financial freedom. I like to say financial independence. You know what I mean? I'm able to do whatever I want or need financially with no issue, right? I like that independence. So anyway, let's say we're looking to achieve financial independence, and I want to live in that wish fulfilled, right? That would mean I would ask myself, right, how would I act if I was already financially free? Right? How would I act if I was already financially independent? Right? The fact that I am posing these questions to myself, it forces my mind to start to create a dimension where this possibility exists, right? I'm in my father's house, there are many mansions, right? I'm already envisioning this wealth, this financial independence. I could see it. I could see it. And even if I don't see it as clear as I see on the TV, that energy that I'm putting out is still creating those visions for me, right? So I ask myself, How would I act if I was already financially free? Would I worry about small setbacks? Example like a flat tire. Would I worry about that knowing that I already have all the money that I need? Would I worry about the transmission messing up? Or would I tell myself, hey, I have the power and in me, everything is already taken care of, right? Am I looking at the silver lining? Am I looking at the situation and say, okay, this happened to me. Why is this always happening to me? Am I thinking from a victim standpoint? Or am I thinking from a powerful standpoint? Like, things happen, this happened. Now, what can I learn from this? How is this situation causing me to be in situations where I could prosper from this, even though it seems like a bad event? But it's only a bad event based off of my limited perspective, right? There was a time where my car had messed up. And typically I'd be a little, upset, like, damn, this car messing up, this car doing this, man, I can't believe. And it's a fairly new car. We're talking like a year or so old. But I wasn't in that mindset. Immediately, once I saw that I had to put the car in the shop, there was so much free time that I had on my hands that I began to work on my store. I began to work on content creation. I began to work on a lot of things that I hadn't necessarily set time aside for because I had been working and moving around and doing so many different things. The fact that the car was aka taken away from me in a sense for repairs, it freed up me to do a lot of things that I needed to do that I hadn't been doing, things that I had been putting off, mailing out letters, going to the post office, making prints. I could go off with a plethora of things I was able to do with that time, right? That the car is in the shop. I'm not looking at the car as an issue or from a place of lack. I'm looking at it from a place of power. This just only gives me time to do X, Y, and Z while they repair my car. And then just like the situation with the iPad, I walk into the dealership, I pick up my car, and I'm gone. So, right. So, how would I act if I was already financially free? Would I worry about small setbacks? Or would I trust that everything is working out for me? I would definitely trust that everything is working out for me, right? Like it says in that good book, in that Bible, right? In this life, you shall have tribulations. So that's a promise. There's gonna be struggle. There's gonna be things that you have to work through, right? Because how would you know? How would you know or understand success if you hadn't went through anything to achieve it? Excuse me. So, right. So in this life, you shall have tribulations. You shall have struggle. You shall have these things, and you need them, right? You need them. This is what helps you understand. Like if you didn't go anything through anything, how would you know what love is? How would you know what respect is? How would you know what these words mean, or how would you determine these feelings if you hadn't been through anything to unlock you and take you to the next level? Right. So again, I wouldn't worry about small setbacks. I would trust that everything is working out in my favor. So the key isn't just thinking it, it's feeling it. Feel the relief, right? You got to feel the relief. You got to feel that joy. You got to feel that excitement. You got to feel that gratitude of already having what you want. So, it done been about 30 minutes, right? I have so many more notes I was about to go into, but like I say, it's been 30 minutes. I've enjoyed this so far. This will give me an opportunity to take a break and come back and start pick up where I left off. But if you're enjoying this, Please leave a comment. If you not enjoying this, leave a comment. Either way, I'd like to know, where you at and how you feel about it. Right? So if this resonated with you, like this video, share it obviously with someone who needs this message, and let's create a ripple effect. Like when you throw a rock in the pond, and those ripples just spread out. So let's create a ripple effect of abundance and alignments. Which what I'm saying is, let's all of us get rich. Let's all of us get in alignment. But this is only for those who this is for. I can't force this kind of information, knowledge, or understanding upon you. You have to be ready to receive it. And if you're not, then it's just not your time. That's no right or wrong way to look at that. It's just not your time yet. But comment below. What is the wish you're ready to start living in today? I'd love to hear your thoughts and support you on your journey. Y'all have a good one. I'll be back soon. One.